Okay, just recording this as a proof of concept. Let's see if I can get through the Burgundian ambush again this time.
There she is! This time she won't escape!
Wait, they changed to neutral, not enemy? Okay, they're still pretty aggressive, but not quite as aggressive as I probably hoped, so that must be why. Yeah, I don't think they actually attack you unless you make the first move. Unless they're actually here. Now, main thing I wanted to test is this. Let's get...
You are victorious!
Okay,
and
now...
our peasants are safe. I just hope Joan can make it to the castle. Joan has fallen in battle. If only...
Oh, okay, we still win. Okay, so no Kaizo trap in that mission. That's strangely merciful considering how ridiculous it was. Hello and welcome back to Age of Empires 2. Last time, bad things happened. Yeah. Let's just kind of forget about that and move on to this, the final scenario of the Joan of Arc campaign. So, yeah, this one's actually kind of interesting. It certainly is a fitting finale, I'll give it that, but you'll see what it actually is once we get into it. It's probably a little different to what you'd be expecting.
July 14, Bordeaux. No Joan of Arc. A rich world made empty and poor. The English put her on trial as a heretic. Joan's mind was as sharp as her sword, and she avoided all the cunning verbal traps of her prosecutors. In the end, Joan would not renounce her mission. The English found her guilty and burned her at the stake. But her death is not in vain. La Pucelle is the rallying cry as peasant and noblemen alike take arms. My army is an army of the people, and even without the king, we are poised to strike at the English stronghold of Castillon. A victory at Castillon will crush the English pretensions in France forever. Should I die in this battle, I die for the Maid of Orleans. I die as a patriot of France.
So, yes, as the hero of the campaign, Joan unfortunately has the dubious honor of dying off-screen. Yeah! So, by this point, yes, Joan is dead, but the campaign must go on. We have one final mission, and this one mission, if you know your history, you'll know this battle pretty much decisively ended the 100 Years' War. So it was a perfectly fitting finale. But anyway, our mission here is, even though Joan is gone, we are not free of escort missions. The trade cart carrying the French flag, French flag must survive. Oh joy. We have to plant said French flag, loaded in a trade cart, on the hill in Castillon, which conveniently is also covered in flags. This is decidedly less easy than it sounds, because said hill is very heavily guarded, even though it might not look like it. Extremely heavily guarded, in fact. More heavily guarded than anything we've fought so far in this campaign. And we also have to rendezvous with the French artillery, commanded by Jean Barrot, and rendezvous with the French army, commanded by Constable Richmond. So, if we check our hints here, most of the land here is occupied. You will have to displace Burgundy in order to build a town. Don't knock down all of Burgundy's walls. You can use them for your own defense. That's, in fact, something that I actually pointed out earlier. It is possible to use enemies' walls for your benefit. It's probably part of the reason why walls can't be converted, because you don't really need to. Longbowmen are powerful, but bombard cannons are better. You'll see why in just a little bit. You can order bombard cannons and other siege weapons to the no attack stance if they are hurting your own troops. Yeah. Fortunately, we have no mangonels in this scenario, but bombard cannons do have a tendency to kill your own troops if you're not careful, so you might want to order them to no attack if you basically that means they won't attack unless you specifically order them to, so that can help. But for the time being, we have 2 units here. We have the trade cart carrying the flag, and we also have this guy.
Sweet Joan, I shall avenge thee.
You probably recognize the voice and the name. This is, in fact, the narrator of
Lord
this
Jocelyn,
campaign.
the army awaits your command.
Guy Jocelyn, whose name was mentioned at the very beginning. Now, I've said before that Jocelyn is not technically a historical character, but they sort of are. It's kind of interesting, and this is where I felt that I had the need to explain this. This I didn't know until I started looking up a few of those developer Q&As with this game. It turns out the reason for this guy's name is the Jocelyn's were in fact a minor French aristocratical family, a minor French noble family that existed around the time of the 100 Years' War. But apparently, they are among the ancestors of one of this game's creators, and that's why they had to include someone with that surname in this game. It's not really that much of a stretch to think that one of them fought in the 100 Years' War, so I guess it sort of makes sense. But yeah, this guy was one of the developers' ways of putting one of his ancestors in the game, which is pretty interesting. So if we keep moving on along this way, fortunately there are no enemies here, otherwise things would be very bad if that trade cart. Come on, should be in a few seconds. There we go. And they were temporarily going after something.
Lahir sword is not bloody enough.
And we have a familiar face here. Yes, Lahir is back. Oh, we've missed your awesome lines for these past few scenarios. And we also have Constable Richmond, who again was also a real historical figure, except he actually apparently helped sign a treaty with Burgundy at one point, but he went back to the Dauphin side later on in the war, so he doesn't really have the best record when it comes to France. But anyway, we have rendezvous with the French army. We now need to rendezvous with the artillery. But first, I'm going to put this trade cart back and leave my villagers here. There's a reason for that, but for now, we will take our army. We also have a whole lot of arbalests, which is really good because the French don't normally get arbalests, so we might want to protect these. We can't actually create any more, and they're very good.
British longbows fare against French cannon.
And in an ironic echo of one of the earlier lines of this campaign, we have Joan, the French artillery commander during the 100 Years' War. He and his brother, who doesn't feature in this game, are apparently credited with basically making French artillery the best in the world at the time. They're not really doing that good a job of of taking this guy out, though. Okay, we've got some crossbowmen incoming, so I think it's about time we attacked. As you see, we've got some Burgundian walls here. Bombard cannons are really good at making short work of these. We've also got a whole bunch of throwing axemen, but hand cannoneers are very good in close range against long-range troops like this. Now, let's see if I can get my bombard cannons to take out those towers and or that trebuchet, because that trebuchet needs to be taken out for the simple reason that it poses a threat to our trebuchets. Now, Burgundy has a couple of monks here as well, which you probably want to take out too, but they've only got long swordsmen, which are decidedly weaker than the champions we have. Their armies are not the best, but anyway, kind of want to take that trebuchet down, again, because it poses a threat to our trebuchets. Task the bombard cannons on those towers, mostly because, oh great, you, who were lucky enough to get into the city, take that mangonel out, and those monks. Oh, I think we just lost a paladin. As in, lost a paladin to the enemy side. Hi, traitor paladin! Thank you. Okay, now, are these guys properly attacking the gate? What you want to do here is, you want to take down the gates, but not the walls. Again, that's gates, but not walls. This will become obvious in a little bit. Wow, bombard cannons really make short work of those. We want to take out those towers too, and we want to keep our trebuchets alive as much as possible, because they're going to be very useful in a few moments, because there's a castle over there. Got got to make sure to keep those knights away from our bombard cannons, and the rest of our army should go forward to guard the bombard cannons because, yeah, bombard cannons really do make short work of structures, but we've got to make sure that after, yeah, got to take those guys out before they get to our cannons. And now that's down, task them on the towers to take them out. Because yeah, there are a lot of Burgundian towers here. We want to smash those towers, smash that castle, because that will be a really problematic soon. Task our paladins to protecting us from archers. We're going to take out more of those. We want to keep as many of our bombard cannons alive as possible, because they are extremely useful at taking out pretty much everything with regards to buildings. Still attacked by Bergen. What are you guys doing? Go away! Okay, this thing should go down soon. Good. Bombard cannons, I'll task you now to the castle. It's kind of annoying that selecting everything doesn't select our one hero bombard cannon. And as weird as it seems, that tower there is probably higher priority than the town centre. And the town centre's too far away. Yeah, that's the annoying thing about trebuchets. They kind of have to pack and unpack an awful lot. You guys are going to go and guard our trebuchets while we... Oh, more archers. Probably take those guys out. Like, if bombard cannons actually manage to hit foot soldiers, they do a whole lot of damage to them, but usually, yeah, the emphasis is on if they manage to hit, and sometimes they manage to hit your own troops quite a lot as well. Okay, they do have some villages, but if we take them down...
Milord, we have captured the Burgundian stockpile of resources.
Okay, another tower. Got to take that out, because it's right near the resources that we're probably going to use. And trebuchets... Where is... There he is. Okay. Now, I do... Well, okay. Now, hopefully, we might be able to get the drop on those monks. Oh, another tower. Okay. Once this tower is taken out, I should probably task these guys to the other tower. And we just lost one cannon. Should actually put our light cavalry at taking those monks down, because light cavalry have a massive... Actually, these guys are hussars, not light cavalry. What am I saying? And once this tower is gone, got to retreat these guys a little bit, because that archer is kind of hurting a little bit. Yeah, now everyone actually seems to be on stand ground stance for the time being, so I'm going to put them on, yes, another stance. Right, now we've pretty much cleared this place. Now, what the scenario wants you to do here is... Okay, nothing happened there. Oh, hey, two bombard cannons actually sat out the fight. That's actually really good, because that means that they didn't get killed, and that means we've got 3 cannons now. I mean, in addition to these 3 cannons, we have 2 more cannons. So we have 5, plus Joan, who strangely has worse stats than some of the other hero bombard cannons, but anyway. Okay, now we kind of want to get rid of that guy. Okay, now, what the game kind of wants you to do is, they want you to build a base. Basically, they want you to build a base here, where the Burgundian base used to be, and while that is what we'll be doing eventually, it's not what we'll be doing just yet. Because I found that from experience, what you actually want to do at this point is, you want to go down here and finish Burgundy now. Yes, now Burgundy isn't exactly the most threatening of opponents, but if you leave them...
Joan. Prepare for battle. We come.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm gonna put these guys on an attack move just so we take out any random Burgundian troops on our way here, because we're heading to the Burgundian base, and yeah, like I said, I did a practice run and I found this is probably the approach that works best here. We want to finish Burgundy right now, because if we don't, they're going to become a mild annoyance later, and while mild annoyance doesn't sound like that big of a deal, they will advance the Imperial Age eventually. They will be sending mostly foot soldiers against you, so mostly things like, Mostly things like, okay, here we go, we're almost in their base. Mostly things like barracks units, like pikemen. Okay, you guys have to take that tower out, otherwise the rest of our army is going to be in trouble. Mostly things like pikemen and swordsmen. So archers are pretty good against them. The thing is, they're not really a big threat on their own. The problem is there's already another big threat in this mission, and having to deal with them and Burgundy at the same time is kind of a little problematic if they got one of our paladins. No, don't attack the town centre. Okay, what we want to do now is we want to station these guys, like, around here. Make sure we take out any monks, take out that monastery, and then task these guys on the barracks. Archers are particularly effective against pikemen, so that'll keep our cavalry safe. Oh, nope, careful, don't do that, don't do that. Okay, oh dear. Okay, you guys kind of go back and take that guy out before he does any damage. See, I found from practice runs that you kind of want to finish Burgundy now because, again, while they aren't the biggest threat in the world... Oh, Lemmy is getting shot by that town centre. Okay, you guys go back. We can pretty much finish off this base using nothing but bombard cannons. So... those archers still coming at us from behind. Using nothing but bombard cannons and trebuchets, we can pretty much still... It's too far. We can pretty much finish off this base completely, so... the rest of us will mostly just focus on defending the siege weapons. Because, again, we want to finish Burgundy now. They will resign very, very soon, I think. Hopefully. Why are you guys shooting the farms? Shoot the stupid town centre. Oh, right, we're in the way. I hate it when that happens, when your own army gets in the way of stuff. Yeah, basically, if you are to take out the town centre, you guys are to go up here, and I think you have to destroy their market, and, okay, and that one villager who's just standing there doing nothing. Very soon... I said very soon. Generally, Burgundy tends to resign pretty soon. Not sure if they actually kill their villagers before they do. They might.
Retreat! We must abandon France to the French!
And with one last line of hilariously bad voice acting, that is it for Burgundy. And that is very, very useful to us because, again, Burgundy is more an annoyance than a threat, but it's an annoyance that can, well, to pardon the redundancy here, get very annoying. It's kind of difficult to fight them and another British army at the same time. So... okay, you might want to take that guy out. Because, yeah, if you don't finish them now, you're going to actually run into problems later, because they get very, very, very irritating. Like, they really don't send much after you, but what few stuff they do send after you just kind of distracts you long enough for the actual threats to pretty much really devastate you. So, you kind of want to take them out early, and I'm glad I did. What are you guys doing? Hey! Battle's over! Yep, pack it up, we're going home. Anyway, gotta be careful about this trade card, but if we manage to get it in here and then get our walls up, you take that guy out, because those longbowmen can get really annoying. Good thing we've kept quite a lot of our siege weapons, because they're going to be handy in a little bit, but first we'll want to build up as much as possible. Now, I actually have a feeling there may be one Burgundian tower we haven't got, kind of finished. But okay, what we need to do first is, we need to get some gates, and we need to build our own gates right there. Remember when I said to destroy everything of Burgundy's except the gates? This is why. The war, if you don't destroy the gates will pretty much, you won't be able to get out of these fortifications, or in to actually attack Burgundy. But if you keep the walls and build your own gates in them, your own army can come and go as you please, but you'll have the safety of these Burgundy walls. So, actually pretty useful, that. Now, let's go ahead and build a town center, and we don't have enough stone. Ah, right. Ah, that was actually kind of stupid. In that case, we want to build a mining camp here. I'm pretty sure there's no way you can possibly screw yourself out of not being able to build a town center. Because... okay, let's see if our artillery are ready. Because once these are up, we'll probably want to focus most of our army around here, because that's where we're going to get attacked mostly. The issue, though, is that I think there might be another tower up there. So I'll just go and scout it out just to see if there is a tower there. Now we just need to get some stone. And we probably have enough for a town centre now. See? Yeah, not that much. Now we go ahead and build a town centre. Who's getting attacked there? You are an idiot! Run away! Oh, no tower! Okay, right. I was kind of wrong. Okay, then. Trebuchets, make sure we put them somewhere where we can protect them. And the rest of us... okay, well, they're all just gonna... you know what? You guys can smash those houses to bits. I don't really care. It'll just make room for my own houses. And our army will go up here. So let's just quickly get that town centre up, and so we can get a good base up and running. Once we have a decent amount of stone, what you also want to do is... Burgundy did not have a wall here. Probably because their allies own the territory up here. But they're not our allies, though, so... we're gonna need a wall here, and... see what they meant by longbowmen are good but bombard cannons are better? Yep. Nothing really tends to survive getting a direct hit from a cannon. And Jean Barreau has less range than regular bombard cannons, and the same attack power, and worse armor, and worse HP. He's worse than a bombard cannon completely, wow! And that other hero bombard cannon we had was really good, but he's worse than a regular bombard cannon? That's really when you're not doing anything, okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have you explore down here a little bit. Because there's actually something around here that might come in handy later. Basically, remember what they said, and we need more houses. Oh, yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, okay, once we get enough stone for castles, the population limit won't be that big of an issue. But until then... you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build a bunch of houses. Here's what I like to do. I like to build houses down here. The reason why is, if you don't, your villagers will tend to actually chop the wood that's here, and that will expose your base to an attack, and you'll have to rebuild your walls, and that costs stone, and yeah. Now here's what I wanted to find. There's a bit of a source of gold here. Usually your enemies don't get their hands on this. Usually. I stress usually. Sometimes they do, but, anyway. Let's see if I can build a couple of houses up here, where the enemy houses used to be. Because we're going to need to get some houses up quickly, because our army is pretty much fully taken up any population count we've had. Now, you guys are mining stone. We're going to need a lot of castles soon, because we're probably going to have to play a little bit of a defensive game. As you can see, fully upgraded tower, fully upgraded tower, fully upgraded tower, fully upgraded tower, bombard tower. Yep, this place is pretty heavily guarded. And, so we're gonna have to build up quite a bit before we're kind of ready to take this place on. Now, yeah, again, I'm building houses here just mostly to block these woods off from us chopping them. These are the woods we kind of want to chop because there's no enemies in that direction. These woods we definitely don't want to chop. More accurately, though, we probably would want to chop here. Actually, a secondary town centre down there might actually be kind of a good idea. You can build, you can freely build town centres once you reach the castle age, so sometimes that can be pretty useful. Okay, we don't quite have enough houses to start building up our population, so let's make more. Oh, you're gonna trap yourself, aren't you? Oh, not quite. Good. And cannon shots go off. What was that? Oh, it was a cavalry. Yeah, you're not really gonna hit light cavalry with cannons, but it's fun to try. We need to build a gate in this one, actually, so I'm probably gonna need to move my troops a little bit back, so that... hey, they got to my wall for a few moments. Good for them. Yes, and you might notice that, yes, we've got an orange army there. They are the Earl of Shrewsbury. They're one of our enemies here, and while it's not technically critical to this mission to defeat them, you'll have a pretty hard time if you don't, because they are very close to your base, and eventually they will start sending massive amounts of rams after you. Kind of like Fastolf did. Their base is located around here, and that will be our next point of call, to take that out. Okay, we probably have enough houses, so you are going to build me a lumber camp and start chopping wood. You two are going to move back a little bit. And we're also going to want to start mining gold soon, because we really are going to need a lot of gold for this mission, mostly because, especially when you factor in stuff like upgrade costs, the Franks are very gold intensive when it comes to their best units. So we're going to want to start mining gold, and that's one of the main problems of this. I seem to have determined that they seem to say that after you've produced a certain amount of villages, but that doesn't really matter because yes, Joan may be gone, but her spirit lives on, and we're going to win this battle even without her. We are definitely going to need more wood choppers, though. We've probably got enough of an army, really. Although later on we may need to rebuild. Oh, hi, stable. Okay, this is one of the annoying things. Sometimes they tend to make a stable right up there. The good news about this is, often your bombard cannons are actually perfectly positioned to take it out from here. No fuss, which is actually really cool. Yeah, as you can see, bombard cannons are actually taking this out. I really hope you guys aren't actually... Yeah, these guys can actually take out these kind of things, and we really don't want to have any buildings like this near our base, so I'm kind of glad that we're taking that down. Gold shaft, I don't have enough wood for that, but gold shaft mining is probably a decent thing to research. It will make you run through your reserves of gold quickly, and that's really the problem with this mission, like I was saying. So firstly, Frankish units are very gold intensive, but the other thing is that there's a very limited amount of gold here. Once we exhaust all the gold within this, and it's actually quite a small and cramped area to build a base in, if I'll be honest. Once we exhaust all of our gold here, there's very little other safe gold on the map, and this mission tends to go on for so long that you often have all the gold mined out. Okay, actually, I was lucky and actually beat Burgundy before they mined out their own gold, which is very good. But this gold here is probably the only technically other safe gold source on the map, because everything else is pretty much... Okay, pretty much everything on the map that's currently black is British controlled. So basically, if we're going to be hunting for gold anywhere, it has to be within our side. And there isn't really that much of that. Yeah, more wood choppers, which is good. I probably will need more food gatherers eventually, too. Do I only have 3 food gatherers, really? Gonna need more of those. And stone's not that much of a priority. It's good for selling for gold once you start running out of gold mines, so... and it's also good for building castles, which we will really, really want to eventually. You'll notice they've upgraded to Cavaliers immediately, so we want to actually get kind of cracking on advancing to the Imperial Age as soon as possible. Once we get enough wood, though, we should start building some military production facilities, like barracks and... Okay, elite bombardment, 6 plus 5, that is 11. And our bombard cannons have better range than that. Okay, so we actually... Bombard cannons are pretty decent against longbowmen, actually. Not very good against cavalry, as you can see. They keep missing, but, well, what are you going to do? Okay, so we got a bit of a food economy going. I think you there. We are going to need some buildings, definitely. Definitely going to need a barracks, stable, and siege workshop. So we're going to go ahead and get to work on those. And yeah, I'm sorry if not much is really happening. This is again this sort of becomes the boring, grindy part of the mission. But So, our next port of call, again, will be to take out Shrewsbury, and then it will be time to advance on the main British base, and oh boy, is it difficult. This is our destination right here, but don't let those looks fool you, it is very heavily guarded. Barracks is up. I'll go ahead and build the siege work. I don't have enough wood. Come on, give us some more wood. There we go. Because this is a requirement for advancing in age, so we'll probably need that. Now, eventually, they will be sending trebuchets against you, so try not to build your buildings too close to your walls. Otherwise, the trebuchets can get at them. You really don't want that. So the Red British mostly tend to send longbowmen and siege onagers and trebuchets after you, while the Orange British mostly send knights and rams. I found that out from the practice runs, basically. Burgundy, if you don't destroy them early, Burgundy will mostly send champions and pikemen at you. And pretty much just that. Although they sometimes do send a couple of siege weapons, but usually not that much. It's mostly just infantry. We will also want a university as soon as we're able, and we're not able yet. We want a university as soon as we're able. There's still not enough wood. Yeah, we'll probably want a castle here at some point. It's kind of tricky though because they do send a lot of rams after you, so that can be not good. But actually, we have enough stone for a castle. And we probably want to build several of them. What I'm going to do for the first one is I'm going to actually put you there. Is there room there? Yes, there is. We can build one right against our walls, and we're going to go ahead and do that. Ah! Here's the thing about the rams! Yeah, okay, they're sending rams out to us. That is... Do I have any paladins? Only one. Okay. This is where we kind of want to... Bombard cannons actually are pretty effective against rams if they can hit them, and they usually do hit them. Like, as you can see here, bombard cannons can be quite effective against them for the most part, but light cavalry are generally better because they're faster. Light cavalry do not do very well against heavy cavalry, though, like cavaliers and knights. Probably don't want to pursue those. Yeah, one of our light cavalry just took a cannonball to the base from my own bombard cannon. But anyway, you stop pursuing. Okay, back in the city. We kind of, it's very, very convenient to build a gate here. We'll probably want to do that as soon as possible once we get more stone. Actually, we probably have enough. And you have finished with that. So what you're going to do is, you're going to go and start building some farms. We're going to need a lot of farms in this scenario because we'll need a lot of food and fast to get to the Imperial Age. Oh man, I love my arbalests. See, it's a shame, the French can't actually get arbalests normally, so these ones are really, really useful. But our bombard cannons are pretty amazing too. Oh, nice shot, arbalests. Again, I love arbalests. Hand cannoneers are pretty good too, but they're more effective against infantry than against cavalry and the like. Well, I mean, arbalests tend to be pretty weak to cavalry, but mostly because they... Oh, wow, nice shot there. This area is getting filled with corpses. Okay, we have 2 unattended farms, so let's get 2 more villages. Once this castle goes up, it'll provide 20 population, so we'll pretty much never need to worry about population limit again. We're still stuck at 75, and now we want to get enough stone for a second castle. But you, speaking of stone, a university is very useful in a scenario like this to upgrade our walls. Eventually they will probably send a second wave of rams. Still have 2 trebuchets. We will probably need more to assault the enemy town up there. So we've got 2 more villages. Might as well go for hand. And we are being attacked down there. Alright, okay, their longbowmen are outranging our castles. And they totally outrange our arbalests as well, and probably do more damage as well. So that's annoying. It's probably better to defend these with cavalry. But anyway, one castle is up. This should pretty much defend our territory quite nicely. If you don't take out Burgundy early, it's usually more of a priority to build castles down here early, because Burgundy does send a lot of troops from down here if you don't take them out early. You there. Huh, what do I need more of at this moment? We probably need more wood, actually. And let's go for handcart, because this will be more productive to our villages in the long run. And I actually think it's probably better to save gold shaft mining until later when we really need lots of gold. Speaking of gold, it's actually quite good to research the pikeman upgrade now. Oh, wow, that's a lot of longbowmen. Okay then. We've got a new job for most of our army, except I'll keep our heroes inside. Where's Joan? Where are you? There you are. You're gonna go there, and you're stuck. Brilliant! Yeah, I don't want to have any of my heroes die on me, so I'm just gonna keep them out of this, and then send the rest of the army down to attack these guys, because they are outranging our castle. In fact, we need a blacksmith, I think we do. You are not an idle villager, trade cart. As much as you look like one, you are not. Yeah, the game somehow treats the trade cart as an idle villager, even though it isn't one. We actually will need a blacksmith because we wanna research bodkin arrow it is to improve the range of our castles, so they don't actually completely, well, completely fail at taking out longbowmen. Of course, those longbowmen tend to scatter pretty quickly when cavalry attack them. Oh, wow, bad. Run. Don't provoke that mangonel. That thing is bad news. Okay, we've got more knights incoming, but our hand cannoneers and other things should be able to take care of them. And did I just shoot myself with my own cannon? I think I did. More longbowmen. Yeah, you can expect to see a lot of longbowmen coming from the Red British Army. Lahir is with the others, isn't he? Oh, crap. Where is he? That's him. Okay, you get back in the city. Because Lahir will actually die if you lose him in this scenario, and I just kind of want to go for a Fire Emblem style, no deaths, no hero deaths thing, so yeah. And Blacksmith is up. We're going to want this, because that will increase the range of our castles. We're also going to want fortified walls. And I believe this has probably gone on for quite a while, so this might be a good place to call this part for the time being. So, next time we will, next time we will hopefully take out these annoying orange British. They have rams again. Where are my cavalry? And fortified walls research. Okay, I'll see you again next. And now it's time for Ye Old Fact of the Day. Ready the cannons as we talk about the Bombard Cannon. Finally, I can go on to this unit. It's actually been quite a while, and I did save talking about it until now just for that one classic line that we got at the beginning of this scenario, and the fact that Bombard Cannons have served us pretty well in this part. So anyway, Bombard Cannons are one of this game's gunpowder units. I've already talked about, well, I haven't actually talked about many of the other ones. I mean, I mentioned Janissaries earlier on, but they actually don't follow the same rules as most other gunpowder units. So yes, like all gunpowder units, Bombard Cannons require the chemistry technology to be researched before you can actually build them. So they kind of have a prerequisite cost before you can even start building them. Once you actually have chemistry, you can build them from the Siege Workshop. So yeah, they're another siege unit, really. And bombard cannons are very powerful, as you can see here. They excel against buildings, as the game says. They can do a lot of damage really quickly. If you can get a whole lot of bombard cannons attacking a building, it tends to go down pretty quickly, even castles. Bombard cannons also outrange most buildings as well, like towers and castles, although Teutonic castles will probably be able to outrange them. And they, certainly do a huge amount of damage to buildings. But the main thing that differentiates bombard cannons from other units like rams and trebuchets is that bombard cannons are at least somewhat decent against units as well as buildings. And that's really the main strength they have. Versatility. That and the fact that unlike trebuchets, they don't have to be packed to move, so they actually are a lot more mobile than trebuchets are. They do have some pretty severe downsides, though, that I'll be talking about later, but let's talk strengths first. Now, apart from utterly demolishing most buildings very quickly, I mean, the history section in this game on castles even says that the inventions of cannon basically made castles obsolete for defense, and that's kind of true in a way for this game. But not only that, bombard cannons, as you've probably seen here, are actually somewhat decent against units as well as buildings. They're a bit inaccurate, and they don't benefit from the ballistics technology as far as I know, despite the fact that the ballistics technology actually has a cannon as its icon. Yeah, weird. So they're pretty inaccurate, and their shots tend to fire pretty slowly, so most units can get out of the way of them. However, you can alleviate this by using a massed group of bombard cannons, which very few units can actually outrun. Bombard cannons, if they do hit something, for weaker units like archers or monks will pretty much die in one shot. Not only that, but they also do a bit of area damage as well. That can be a problem though, because like mangonels, bombard cannons can in fact harm your own units, as this scenario's hints do mention. Which is, well, kind of really annoying sometimes. But that area damage is a good thing against enemies, as they're actually somewhat effective against mass groups of units in a way. Not against cavalry though. Cavalry will be able to dodge their shots really easily and probably run them down. But against infantry and archers, they're actually pretty decent. So, bombard cannons are a lot more versatile than units like trebuchets or rams are. Of course, bombard cannons do come with some considerable downsides. Mainly, not all civilizations get them. As you can see here, the Britons have not even attempted to field their own bombard cannons. That's because they can't. The Franks get them, and a few other civilizations do as well, but again, they're not available to everyone, so to the civilizations they are available to, you probably want to use them, especially if you're the Turks, because the Turks get a unique technology that increases their range, and that makes them insanely powerful. They also get more HP under control of the Turks. But not just that, the other main downsides of bombard cannons are their cost. They actually cost more than trebuchets, and trebuchets were already very expensive. So they're expensive to field in the large numbers that you kind of need them to be in to be effective. Bombard cannons are also much more fragile than most other siege weapons, and this is what I feel their main downside is. They only have 50 hit points. Most other siege weapons have at least 150, so yeah, trebuchets, like pretty much everything has much more HP than bombard cannons do. Not only that, but bombard cannons are a little lacking in the armor department when it comes to siege weapons, especially pierce armor. Now, 5 pierce armor would be amazing for most units. By siege weapon standards, it's absolutely pathetic, because rams have like 200, and even trebuchets have pierce armor in the hundreds. Bombard cannons can actually die quite fast to archers, and that's something that not a lot of siege weapons have, so you'll need to be careful about them. So, yes. And of course, their low HP does them no favours against cavalry, who will very gladly hack them to pieces in short order should they close in. So, the main thing, if you're using bombard cannons, you want to keep them guarded. You really do, because bombard cannons are extremely fragile. But apart from that, they're pretty good. Again, their main advantage is that they're a lot more versatile than most siege weapons are, because they're at least decently effective against units as well as buildings. They're not the best against units, but they're still pretty good, especially in mass numbers. Of course, that will run you a huge amount of resources, so yeah. And that'll mean it's even more crucial to keep them protected. Things like the box formation might be helpful for protecting them. And yes, again, you might want to guard them with halberdiers or pikemen, because they really don't like cavalry, so you'll need to keep them protected from the likes of those. But use them against buildings? Yeah, bombard cannons can level an entire city very quickly. Just don't let the enemy close with them. So, now it's time for the history lesson. Gunpowder reached Europe from China by the 13th century, and primitive cannons appeared first in the 14th century. Bombard cannons were large, ponderous, and dangerous to fire because the guns tended to break apart because gunpowder was of uneven quality. They were used mainly in sieges where the time was available to set them up and fire them at a fixed target. By the 15th century, bombard cannons firing stone or iron shot were making castles obsolete. Cannons could bring down vertical stone walls quickly by firing shot at high velocity into the lower wall sections. Giant bombard cannons manned by European mercenaries were instrumental in the Turkish attack that finally captured Constantinople in 1453.